Over the years, I've done a lot of Afghans, and many times instead of doing an Afghan, this whole big huge Afghan on my lap and working on it done in one piece, I have learned a technique of making my Afghan in strips and then sewing it together, but not actually sewing stitches together. I use the outside, I unknit my outside stitch, my first stitch on my strip, and then I loop them together. So I knit a strip, just a strip. Always do a garter stitch along the edge, and I always slip the first stitch in the garter stitch also. And you need to have all of your strips with the same number of rows in them in order for this to work. So after you get your strips done, you take out the first, I do not cast off my stitches. I put them on some type of a holder, and today I just used a regular piece of yarn. And then I undo, ravel down the first stitch. And so I end up with these loops along the edge. I find it sometimes easier to do it with just my fingers to unloop, and see, I end up with all these little loops along the edge. So you do that on each side of your strip except your outside edges on your last strip. And when I'm putting these, and I quite often, as I do this, after I've got them unknit, unraveled, whatever you want to call it, I will count them and put a marker every 15, 20 loops. So that way I know that I'm matching everything up together correctly, and I don't end up with missed rows. So after I get this all done, then I loop it together, and I'm going to do one more. So I take this loop, and you need to hold your stitches also sometimes, that last one, so it doesn't come undone. And I just used a little marker here. So I take this stitch, I take my loop from the other and pull it through, and then I pull one through from the other side, and then I'll pull a red one through. And you can see how it looks as I've looped them together. And you also can do 2 at a time if you'd like to. So you could take 2 loops and pull them through, and then 2 loops from the other side. Loops from the red. And you don't have to worry about this coming apart, because I mean, the stitches won't unravel anymore. Just that one stitch is all that's going to come undone. So you don't need to worry about the rest of your stitches doing crazy things and you lose them as you're doing this. And I have made Afghans, and they have been used for years and years and years, and they just wear, nothing ever comes apart.
Let's see.
And I actually kind of like the double stitch better than a single. It just makes it a little bit tighter. And this is how it looks when you're all done. and you've got a good strong, that's never gonna come apart. But then when you get done, you've got all these loose stitches up here. So what I've found is that you can start on one side and bind off your stitches all the way across, and that finishes your square.